Karate 360 Nation, welcome back. We are Karate 360. We are back in studio here at Kenzan Sports Karate. My name is Kalan Anglos.
I'm Richard Mosdell.
And this is episode 14 of Karate 360.
Episode 14. Can't believe we made it all this way.
All this way, fresh off of our first live show in Richmond at the BC Open.
That's right. So as we get into 2014, let's just quickly get everybody's mind aligned with what's about to happen. Canadian National Championships are going to be February 24th to 26th in Quebec City.
Quebec.
Has it ever been in Quebec City? I can't remember.
I can't remember if it has. I'm sure it has at some point, but I don't actually think so. Not since I've been a BC team athlete, that's for sure.
1999, I think, was in Quebec, and 2002 is in Montreal. But Quebec City, this coming February 24th to the 26th, we will see everybody there. So that's your first warm-up. Next one is the 2017 U.S. Open and Junior International Cup at the Paris Las Vegas Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, April 12th and 16th.
Another big one in the States, biggest tournament in the States.
I think there's 1,200 athletes, 12 to 1,600 athletes, 12 rings. People from all over the world go there at all ages.
Yeah.
All levels.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. And of course, those two warming up for what?
Yes, they're just a warm-up for the Canadian Open Karate Championships, June 3rd and 4th, the Richmond Olympic Oval in Vancouver.
And surely you've heard of that one by now. Again, the big Canada Open later in 2017. Be the first Canada Open champion.
I know, first Canada Open champion. That's pretty amazing. What a venue. You're 10 minutes from the airport. You're walking distance from all the hotels. You're a 15-minute train ride all the way downtown Vancouver if you want to go sightseeing. It's fantastic.
We were just there for the BC Open, and all I can think of is this is going to be perfect for the Canada Open.
It's going to be awesome. And what people are going to be surprised by when they show up is we're going to have these huge bleachers wrapping around on three sides. So it's going to create like
arena
atmosphere.
Yeah, totally.
It's going to be huge.
We got the Olympic, the circles,
Olympic rings,
Olympic rings there hanging over top at the climbing wall, and it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be fantastic. So everybody, there are obviously other big events like the Paris Open at the end of January, but really these are just warm-ups for the big Canada Open in June 3rd and 4th.
That's right. So keep an eye on the WKF website for all the WKF event news. And again, this is episode 14 of Karate 360. We're going to talk a little bit about the WKF schedule that was just released, a couple of recent tournaments that came up, as well as our usual technical, tactical karate stuff, and another karate training tip. So without further ado, this is episode 14 of Karate 360.
Karate 360, let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low, from local to global, the thing that you love. Karate San Rokumaru.
Hello, Karate 360 Nation. This is episode 14 of Karate 360.
It's great to be back in the studio with all our amazing technical staff and production team.
Absolutely. Our editors and producers and cameramen and, back in studio with our team. It was great. The live show, our first live podcast.
Well, live in front of a bunch of people who are alive.
That's right. They were alive and awake by the end of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And next time we'll figure out how to stream it live at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. We had a couple of ideas. We just kind of scrapped them there at the end and said, let's just get going.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. We had Peter Stoddart back. We had a bunch of guys, Henry and Laszlo from our club. Some staff coming by too from the hotel.
Yeah, that's right. What are these guys doing in here? But we're back here in studio with our regular mics, so hopefully we sound a little bit better.
Absolutely. Well, that mic looked like the tip of a propeller.
Yeah,
an airplane.
Totally. Yeah, it did. But it worked great. And we were able to bring it to you guys. So again, we were at the BC Open Championships this past weekend.
It ended on time.
Started on time, ended on time. Divisions were almost all on time, which is, for the most part, in my karate life, unheard of.
It was great. Good to the tournament committee staff who were running everything from station to station for everybody.
Yeah, it was great, and the volunteers were all great as well at each table. And everything was really well. I mean, we talked already a little bit about what went well on the day of, but do you have any kind of extra thoughts, now that we've kind of been able to digest everything? Anything else come to your mind?
I'm really impressed how many people came out on a December 10th, like about 400 athletes.
Yeah.
91 clubs. And, braving the snow and the sleet and the hail, and they actually all made it. So I think our community here on the West Coast is really warming up to the idea that we're going to have 2 big tournaments every 6 months.
Yeah.
Canada Open in the summer and provincials in the fall, so people can do all kinds of development tournaments leading up to both of them.
Yeah.
It's funny, some people came up to me and said, I'm really glad you've got provincials here in December. And I meant to correct them that this is the Open.
Yeah.
But then I thought, no, really, next year it's just going to be provincials.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Yeah. And usually at provincials, it's a 2-day type tournament. Usually you do the non-elites on the Saturday and the elites on the Sunday. We just did it all in one day this year. Boom, get it in, and then just train the next day. And it worked. I thought it worked great. I mean, we had obviously all the little kids in there as well. They were able to see the elite athletes in there, the
side by
side, running side by side, and they were able to see it. And I thought that was really great. It kind of gives them something to work toward and kind of see, oh, that's where I want to be type thing.
Yeah, a lot of people said the same thing, that this was one of the first times they had the elites and the non-elites right beside each other, because we did 1, 2, 3 rings for the non-elites, 3, 4, 5 rings for the elites, and so they were mixing and bumping into each other and seeing that sort of thing. So that was great. You'll be able to see all the footage from 6 rings, 10 hours each ring, 60 hours total. It will be on the Karate BC YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah.
And the streaming company will upload it on Monday or Tuesday next week. I guess now, if you're listening to us, this is released on Monday morning.
Yeah, so it should already be available. If not, keep an eye on our YouTube
Monday,
page.
Tuesday, Wednesday, it should be on our YouTube page.
Great.
So how many karate tournaments can you think of where all the footage for everything is up on the YouTube page?
Yeah, on YouTube, I can't think of any. I know for nationals on Sport Data, sometimes you can get the archive videos, but on YouTube,
no, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great, yeah.
And we took all the footage, put it onto 4 laptops, had 4 55-inch flat screens. So the next day for the BC team members, they did they were broken up into age groups. So one age group was doing their technical training on the floor with the coaches. The other age group did their tactical review of going and actually looking at the footage on the big screens.
Yeah.
And doing a SWOT about, their strengths and weaknesses for every match and the opportunities and threats that the opponents they had for Qatar community gave them. And they have to go write it and put it on their year training plan, which is in a digital form, which is shared with the coaches in Google Sheets. Because I think that's really important. The coaches are so busy, they don't have time to sit down with each athlete and go, hey, how did you do yesterday?
Yeah.
How'd it go? Tell me how you're thinking. How are you feeling? What did you do well? What didn't you do well? When you've got 155 athletes, you don't have any time for that.
Yeah, and this is kind of like the first year that it's been really implemented, where you have to do a YTP, now you have to do a SWOT analysis, here's your matches, watch them. And we kind of took the whole station approach there at training, where you're training either on the mats or you're doing your looking at your YTP, going over it, looking at your matches. And I thought it was great. To be honest, I wasn't exactly sure how the athletes were going to take to it, but it was great. They were all into it. There was athletes, even when they didn't need to be, they were watching their videos, they were going through their SWOT analysis, so it was great.
No, that was awesome. And if you're a coach, later you can just log onto your computer, log onto an athlete's YTP, put your foot up, crack open your favorite drink, read it through. You can even go over and look at the footage and go, oh, here's the footage of a match I didn't see, and here's what they thought about themselves, and put a couple comments on. So I think with the great teamwork that the coaches have, and I think other it can be a club instructors. If you do this for any club that's got a competitive team, can have a YTP on a Google Sheet, have everybody write notes in it. They don't have to email back and forth.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking, for something that anybody can really do for the future, and something that we should maybe consider, is having somewhere where we can go, where we can see all, not just the team athletes, all athletes that want to be on there, where you can go one place, you can see their videos, their YTP, their SWOT, everything in one spot. You can just search for the name and there it is. There's everything you need. That
would be amazing.
Yeah.
Especially with the saving data digitally now is getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yeah.
They just need to have a source to be able to do that. That would be a neat thing to transfer. Actually, today I talked to this online registration company and asked them if they can accept pictures and Excel YTPs. And
okay.
Like, well, that's a little bit tough for us, but the pictures we can definitely do. So, because the other part we need is a tracking. We need to be able to track athletes from all the tournaments that they've ever done. So which tournament did they do? How well did they do at the tournament? And then, you're almost getting at like CIA level. Like pull up the video from April 16th on that CCTV camera. Attach that thing, tie it in with his picture, and where's his profile, and have it all come up on some sort of like.
What's his
screen.
fitness test scores?
That's right. What's his fitness test scores?
Yeah.
What was his SWAT? How dare he think himself like that? What was his 3-year plan?
Yeah. No, I think that'd be a great thing for coaches to utilize. Just somewhere they can go where they can see, all their athletes stayed in one spot. Something they can kind of see.
We had athletes from our club. We told them that don't plan even to win a match.
Yeah.
And they did pretty well. Some of them won many matches, but we said, don't plan to win a match or just try and get a point.
Mm-hmm.
Then next couple tournaments down the road, try and win your first few rounds.
Yeah, I think this one, because a lot of them were really new, we just wanted them to take it all in, just to really enjoy the experience and just kind of have that experience of being at a big tournament with 400 athletes and learn from it. Try and see what's new and go from there.
Yeah, it was neat seeing them make friends.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to make friends with all these people. And then the kids were hanging out and having a good time.
Yeah.
And we were able to have a guest speaker.
Yeah, on Sunday, which I thought was really great. And not only that, but it was really timely too, because I think a lot of talk in a lot of the combat sports right now is weight cutting and weight reduction and trying to make weight. So we had Gord Sturrock come in from
Douglas
College, to give a presentation on that, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, we videotaped it. We've got the PowerPoint. So his title was "Weight Cutting, Is It Worth It?"
Yeah. Now, just a little background on Gord. He's a wrestler. He was on the national team many years as a wrestler, and now he's coaching as a wrestler. And he's, seen his athletes. He himself has gone through just large weight cuts and seen the effects that it can do to somebody. So he's now just kind of taking a hands-on approach to trying to deal with that and bring it to other sports.
Yeah, he's done his PhD, so he's a professor, sports science.
Yeah,
and he did quite a bit of his own academic research in weight cutting for combat sports, especially for wrestling.
Yeah.
He said he started studying it back in the 80s. And then he was medaling at the international level. He said for himself, he could walk around at 74 kilos and fight at 67.
Yeah.
That's a big cut.
That's a big cut. Yeah.
But he was very clear. Basically, if you're 18 years old and under, if you're really close to the line of being at the top of your weight zone, you should just move up.
Yeah,
because you're gonna grow, you're gonna put on muscle mass. Just go up.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And then if you are an adult, especially in your 20s and higher, then it's different. You can actually play with 3% of your body weight.
Mm-hmm. And I liked how he did that afterwards, where he gave his kind of presentation to the entire team. And on the team, obviously, there's juniors and seniors as well. And I really liked that he brought in the peak height velocity, and he was talking about that and getting people thinking about that, which, of course, is just the rate at which you're growing type thing. And then after his presentation was over, he said, okay, now let me talk to all the senior athletes. Come over here, because it's a little bit different for you guys. You have a little bit more wiggle room. So I thought it was great how he did that.
Well, yeah, because he said you obviously know this, but a very easy way to know if you're going through puberty is if you grew 1 inch in your height in a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could be at the tail end of your growth. Then he said that's when you actually start doing weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the athletes, for the senior athletes, said you can, when you wake up in the morning, you can be a kilo lighter than when you went to bed.
Yeah.
So if you're playing in a 3% zone or less, so that means you only have to lose 1 to 3 kilos.
Yeah.
To make weight. So you don't eat. That's 1 kilo.
Yeah. Plus sleeping and getting the next day, you're already at almost 2.5 kilos.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then, he said to teach your body how to sweat. So for several weeks before your competition, at the end of your workout, you put on lots of tracksuits and stuff, and you teach your body to sweat for 10 or 15 minutes at the end, as profusely as possible.
Yeah.
So that it knows sweating is what you want it to do when you work out. And then on the day of the weight cut, you wake up, don't eat, you sweat as much as you can. Then you go do your weigh-in, you make weight, and then you start to recuperate. For karate, we do our weigh-ins 1 to 2 days ahead of competition, so people can recuperate quite a bit. But it's really important that anyone 18 and under doesn't weight cut, because he said that there were even studies that said that if you do weight cutting and dieting,
Yeah.
that you can impact the development of your body for 5 years after.
Oh, absolutely. It's easy. Yeah. Especially with large weight cuts at the younger ages as well. It's just crazy. And in actually wrestling, there's been several cases where actually athletes have died strictly from weight cutting, and it's just insane.
It wouldn't surprise me because you do hear stories of, for a long time since I've been in karate, there's always been someone trying to cut weight.
Yes.
And, someone gets stuck in the sauna for 4 or 5 hours and
Yeah.
have no idea what they're doing.
Look like death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I once tried to cut weight. I had no idea what I was doing. When I was really young, I thought, I'll just get on the exercise bike. And all I did was just get tired.
Yeah.
When I went to weigh myself, and I was sweating like crazy, but I was drinking water too.
Yeah.
And,
Gaining
gaining
half a kilo or
exactly. I
something.
got on the scale after 2 hours on the exercise bike. I was like, I'm the same weight.
Yeah.
It's not coming off at all.
Yeah.
That was good because that was like the very first tournament. So I could just say, oh, just keep me. I was thinking, I should go 1 weight down. But what I really should have done is plan for it for 6 months.
Yeah. The quote, or what he said that I really liked, I think you used this after too, was, you don't want to hold your body hostage,
Yeah,
especially if you're in
yeah.
that growing stage. Really, you are holding your body hostage if you're not giving it the nutrients it's need, and you're taking away from it, really. So you don't want to do that.
Well, I remember I was getting up. The heaviest I ever was almost 90 kilos. Well, that's once when I was in Japan eating way too much. But like 83, 84, 85 and slow.
Mm.
And then switched my coach, stopped lifting weights, just did a lot of plyometrics, went down to 77.
Yeah.
And then I was, now I'm fast and I feel really comfortable.
Sure.
And then tried to get stronger but keep that weight level.
Yeah.
And that was great because that was like my walk around weight. So I didn't really ever think about it. I was right in the old days. You had 75 to 80 for light heavyweight. So I just sat right in the middle.
Yeah. See, I was on the other end. I was always the one that was trying to gain a kilo or whatever to try and make weight. So I was on the bottom end of it. So losing weight wasn't an issue for me. It was putting on the weight.
Water bottles in the pockets.
Water bottles in the pockets, and then, getting water intoxication by drinking too much water, throwing up before you get on the scale. Yep, been there. No, but I thought that presentation by Gord was really great, and really, there's a lot of information that athletes could take away from it, and I thought it was great.
Well, the other thing he said is, if you're thinking about weight because you're thinking, why? Like, why you're trying to make the weight because you think your division is going to be easier to win?
Yeah, or you're going to have some kind of advantage by dropping down. Yeah,
and really, what you're doing is you're wasting time not thinking about getting better at your skill.
Yes, yeah.
Right? You're creating more stresses on yourself when what you really need to be doing is building more benefits.
Yes.
So,
the question now becomes, how do we get athletes to not weight cut, to not take, because I've heard of athletes, I know athletes have tried to cut 20 to 25 pounds. So you were talking 12 to 15 kilos in a week or less than a week.
Well, first they have bad information.
Yes, of course.
They have bad information.
Not well informed.
Not well informed.
Yeah.
You can only gain like 25 pounds of muscle a year.
Sure, yeah.
Right? If you have to lose 20 pounds of what?
Yeah, water weight is basically what you're trying to lose, yeah.
You're going to dehydrate yourself. You can dehydrate. Your organs aren't going to be working properly.
Yeah, your brain isn't going to be working
exactly
at all.
They're people with wrong information, people telling them, boxing wrestlers do this all the time, but actually they don't.
Yeah.
And then why they're trying to fit into a division where they think that they can be really good. Now, if you're provincial or state level, and there's only 2 people in it, and you just got to lose 10 pounds to get into it. Yeah, that gets you into that division. But that's not where you're competing.
No.
You want to compete at your best at nationals so that you can compete your best at an international event. Remember, state or provincial to national level is not a big jump.
No. And it's gonna become interesting too at the Olympics in 2020 when karate's in the Olympics, because there's only going to be 3 weight divisions for both males and females. So
are we really that? Is it really that important that we're different weights? I think it's more height.
Okay, height and maybe limb length or something.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, because your weight only really plays an advantage when you're throwing somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're really more of a height and limb reach sport than we are of a weight strength sport.
Yes.
If you were to get a whole bunch of people in a room and you line them up by height, you've got a really different tournament than if you line them up by weight.
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking about of explosiveness, ability of a muscle too, I mean, or the human body, the more muscle mass you have, usually the more powerful you are too. So there is that factor as well. But at the same time, if you're dehydrating yourself, your muscles aren't going to perform anyway.
Exactly.
What kind of benefit are we getting here?
Yep. I think the other thing too is we can't allow what the Olympics is going to do, because that's 80 people total.
Yeah.
Take the
Less
10
than 1%.
males and 10 females
Yeah.
out for kata, so it's 30 women and 30 men in 3 different weight divisions.
Yeah.
You know, Gord said in wrestling that at the high school level, there's 17 weight divisions. So it's very easy to switch your weight division. So don't allow the Olympic and international system to determine what you're going to do at your local level.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
You know, the other thing he said is when they do a point system, the earlier tournaments that with points have less points.
Yeah. Okay. That's right.
So
yeah.
as you're getting closer and closer to the last tournament, the tournaments are having more and more points. What happens is pretty quickly you'll figure out who your first person in the division is. And they just wait. They still have to compete, but they wait. What you're really waiting to see is when is second decided.
Yeah.
Then as the next 2 or 3 tournaments come along, the play is between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Because 1 and 2 have been decided, but 3 and 4, that's where they're still fighting for a spot. So by having the weight, the points get higher and higher as you get closer, then it gets more interesting. It allows people to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
They always have a hope in the system that they can get it on the team.
Absolutely.
You know, in the old days, if you won you could be totally behind in points. You could be at the bottom of the 10. But if you won the final tournament, you could then go out for a challenge match against the first place guy.
Right. Yeah. Similar to something that we used to do too on the BC team, where if you were in the C position at that point, you could then challenge for the B position.
That's
and then
right.
if you got that, well, then you can challenge for the A position. So, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we had that speaker, and I've got it on video, so we're going to get it put up on the Karate BC YouTube page next week so people can watch it.
Yeah.
Because that's, if any club instructor has someone talk about, wow, how much weight should I lose? When should I lose weight? They've got to watch this.
Yeah.
This at least will start them thinking more correctly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And with that in mind, we want to talk a little bit now about this week's Karate Global News. So, because the last couple of weeks we have been live podcasts, we've had Peter Stoddart come in for an interview. There's been a couple tournaments actually that have come up that we have yet to discuss. And the first one that just came up was the AKF Junior Cadet and U21 Championships. That was on November 27th in Indonesia.
That's right. The Asian Karate Federation Championships. Can you think of all the countries in Asia?
Nope. I'm sure you could.
Yeah, having lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go down the list of the number 1 ranked country in the event based on the medal result to the 15th related country? Do you want to go through it?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
Okay. So this is the medal count for the 15th AKF Cadet, Junior, and U21 Championships. This is the medal statistics per nation.
So you say the country, and I'll say the gold title.
Okay. So the country, Japan, number 1.
20.
Second, the Islamic Republic of Iran.
6.
And again, just remember these are gold medals only. Third place, Indonesia.
2.
Fourth place, Saudi Arabia.
2.
Going down from 5, we have Vietnam.
2.
Malaysia.
1.
Kazakhstan.
1.
Thailand.
1.
Uzbekistan.
1.
Chinese Taipei.
You thought I was going to say 1, but I'm going to say 0 because I got 2 silvers.
So if they have 0, everybody else has 0.
Yes.
Gold medals. But number 1, Japan, 20 gold medals, more than triple the next one, the Islamic Republic of Iran. So Japan just continuing that hot streak in the international karate world. And their total medal count was 31. Which was 6 more than the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran actually had 15 bronze medals.
Yeah, Iran had 15, almost like a flip of what Japan was getting.
Yeah.
Like they were getting the bronzes and Japan was getting the golds in those matches.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Same with Indonesia, and Indonesia was the host country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone told me that there's just in the International Goju Kai, there's 500,000 members in Indonesia.
Wow.
There's a lot.
That's a lot.
There's a lot.
That's a lot. That's crazy.
All right. 皆さんこんにちは。はい。それはね、12月ね、44回 Japan Karate Championships called the Emperor's Cup and Empress's Cup was on December 10th and 11th. 10th was at the Tokyo Budokan, and that was the team kumite only events.
Okay.
47 prefectures and the capital, duking it out. And then on Sunday at the Nippon Budokan, by the way, it's on the cover of my book called Sunny Leads. Check it out.
Oh, really? Oh, I haven't heard that.
Which is exactly where they're going to host the karate for the Olympics. And just a little side note there, but the World Karate Federation and I think the IOC just announced that they will accept using the Nippon Budokan as the official location.
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
So let's go into Saturday's tournament. And the results are for female team kumite. First place was Chiba. Second place, Kyoto. Third place was Saitama, and tied with Tokyo. Now, Japan is in 7 regions. So the region around Tokyo is called Kanto. And in Kanto includes Chiba, Saitama, and Tokyo. So that means that the Kanto region is really strong. Kyoto is the original capital. It's in the Kansai region. They are kind of rivals.
Okay.
Who are rivals in baseball?
The Red Sox and the Yankees.
Is that the big one?
That's the big one. Well, if you're a Red Sox or Yankee fan.
How about in ice hockey?
Montreal and Boston.
Montreal and Boston.
Yeah.
Not Toronto?
Well, Montreal and Toronto as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Montreal has won so many Stanley Cups. Everybody's a rival to them. But
Okay.
yeah, Montreal and Toronto as well.
See, in rugby, is it
New Zealand
and Australia?
Yeah. I mean, New
Or
Zealand.
New Zealand, everybody?
New Zealand and everybody, just because they win everything.
So, yeah, the East Japan and West Japan have a rivalry going back hundreds of years, back to wars that were won. Male team kumite, first place was Kyoto, second place Ibaraki, third place was Tokyo, tied with Kanagawa. And Ibaraki, Tokyo, and Kanagawa are all in the same Kanto area. So again, Kanto is strong, challenging Kansai. All right, female individual kumite. I'm just going to give out you the top 2 people here. So there's Ayumi Uekaza and Sada Yamada. I think Sada Yamada we talked about a while ago in one of the Asian tournaments. In the male individual kumite is Ryutaro Araga.
Oh, Araga.
And
plus 84, right?
Plus 84.
Yeah.
And Hiroto Shinohara was second place. In the female...
Can I guess?
Yes, go ahead.
Kyo Shimizu.
Holy moly. You got it. That's right.
Another world champion.
Our Chatanyaru Kushanku specialist. And then in second place was Hikaru Ono. Then first place, can you guess for male? Starts with a R. First word R, second word K.
Tell me.
Ryo Kyuna.
Oh, Kyuna, of course.
Kyuna Senshu, that means athlete. He's first place, and Issei Shimbaba was second place. And they had a total of, they listed 8 people, because when you're there, you're going for your best 8. Now, what's interesting is I just finished reading you the results for the Japan National Championships. What is different than the national championships of other countries?
Well, you only read 2 people, but I'm assuming that there was more than 2 medalists.
Okay, well, here's the categories. Male kumite, female kumite, male kata, female kata, team kumite, female team kumite. That's all the divisions.
Okay, well, there's no weight classes.
No weight classes. Yep.
And
That's it.
And that's it. Wow.
That's it. It's open. It's an open...
Strictly an open tournament.
Open tournament. So to get into it, you win your prefecture. Or I think you maybe top 2. Might be more than that. If you win the high school championship, you win the university championship, you win the... I think it's also the corporate championship. If you're in a company, you can register for the corporate one. I don't think the self-defense force, like the Army, Navy, Air, like the military championship, I don't think you qualify if you come from there.
Okay.
And then if you won last year, you're at the top of the pile, and you're a second, you're at the bottom.
Okay.
So you're seated so that if you both end up making it all the way through, you meet each other in the middle. So they're blocks. So you'll have an A block, a B block, a C block, and that block will fight down to one winner. And then the top and bottom of that block will be seated with, the champions from a minor tournament or prefecture tournament, and then they'll face off. So what they want to do is try and just separate people with their strengths.
Right. It'd be interesting to see that the top medalists in those open divisions, what actual weight division they were in. Obviously, we know Araga is heavyweight, plus 84. But the rest of the medalists, too, it'd be interesting to look at and see where they are, if it's a range or if it's mostly heavier weights,
I think they're
weights.
mainly... I have seen some lighter weights in there, but they're mainly a little bit heavier.
Okay.
Yep. So that a lot of it's reach, right?
Sure.
A lot of it's reach. And what they'll do for an international tournament is they'll have a big selection where they'll bring in the pool of people who went to nationals, which will be off the top of my head like 60 to 100. So they'll invite people by weight class.
Okay.
They'll come in and they'll say, okay, you guys are all the heavyweights. There's 10 guys that come in, you're the heavyweights. We're going to have every guy fight every other guy. And then you can see what your win-loss record is. And those fights might only last like 1 to 2 minutes. And then they'll have them fight off in front of a panel of coaches. And they'll do the same thing for everybody else that's in a similar weight category. And at the end, the coaches will decide, well, based on your win-loss record of fighting everybody in your pool, who should get to go to a tournament.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's harder for someone on the outside to go, well, where's the transparency?
Mm-hmm.
But in the inside, what they're really trying to do is figure out the best athlete. So, A athlete fights B athlete.
Right.
A can win. B athletes fight C athlete. They can beat C. And C can beat A. It's like a wicked triangle. So they have to figure out who can be consistently good instead of just a tournament.
Sure, that makes sense, yeah.
So that's how they do it in selections. It takes longer, but that's how they do it. So that was the 44th Japan Cup Karate-Do Championships, the Emperor's Cup and the Empress's Cup for the individual events. There's a long and very interesting political story about getting more Emperor's Cup and Empress's Cup for this tournament. And I will explain that on another day. But there's a really interesting one that will full of intrigue and spies and all kinds of stuff. Ninjas moving back and forth. If you ever get a chance to go to Japan, this time of the year is not bad because Japanese winters, especially December, is not that cold.
Okay.
February is really cold.
Right.
Although this year is really cold in Japan too. But it's sunny every single day, which is a really nice thing. But this is the tournament that, Arakawa Sensei and I, we would sit for the kata, and whichever kata division started first, male or female, then we just watch it all the way through and see who could guess. We had to say it out loud to the guy before the judge did hande.
That's right. That's what you're saying.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And the whole world, like Tokyo is kind of the center of Japan geographically in terms of how all the transportation is set up. So everybody comes, and it's a really exciting weekend. And that is the 44th Japan Karate Cup.
So there it is, the JKF Japan Nationals results, and as well as the AKF Cadet Junior and U21 results. You can find those both on the JKF or WKF websites, as well as sport data as well on that.
And we'll put the links in our blog.
Absolutely. And the last thing that we wanted to kind of talk about for Karate Global News is the WKF schedule, which was just recently released for the 2017 year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just going to kind of go through that a little bit. So the WKF and the Karate One Premier League events happening in the new year. The first event that's coming up in January is not till the end of January 27th to 29th. That's the K1 Premier League in Paris. And then a month later in February, they have the 44th EKF, I'm assuming that's the European Karate Federation, Junior and Cadet U21 champions in Bulgaria. March, you see two K1 tournaments, Karate One Premier League in Rotterdam, as well as in Dubai. And then in April, we have the senior championships, from the OKF senior championships, April 7th to 9th, and the 14th to the 16th, another Premier League in Morocco. May is filled with WKF tournaments from the 4th to the 7th. There's a tournament as well as 13th to 14th. Almost every weekend in May, there is a WKF sanctioned tournament. And then in June as well, every weekend as well in June. So May and June seem to be the busy months, and then it kind of tails off a little bit from there. The World Games is July 25th and 26th in Poland.
Do you know what the World Games is?
Why don't you tell us what the World Games is?
The World Games includes all the sports who have made it to the final round of Olympic recognition but have yet to be put in the Olympics.
Okay.
So karate would still be in this games because it hasn't been included. The World Games are the year after the Summer Games.
Okay.
So if you weren't in the Summer Games, you get to be in the World Games the year after.
Right. So because we weren't in the 2016, we're in the World Games.
For 2017.
By we, I mean karate.
That's right. And because they plan these things 4, 5, sometimes 8 years ahead, if your sport has been included, then they've already planned for it. So you're going to want to be in it. And it's a good warm-up event for the Olympics. So that sort of shows the Olympic organizers what it's going to look like.
Right.
2001, I went to Japan for the World Games, and it was in Akita, which is up northwest on the main island of Honshu. I mean, I can't remember exactly what the qualifier was, but it was something like top 8. You had to make top 8 in your continental tournament and maybe top 8 at the Worlds. So it was really the best of the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's also government funded. So I think your government's supposed to pay for your trip, whereas with the World Championships, you might have to pay for yourself depending on the country you come from.
Okay. Yeah.
The World Games is there's a lot more government funding for it. So where's this World Games at?
The World Games is in Poland. Yep. 25th, 26th.
So this is going to give a really good example of what the quality will be. Because some of these people may actually make it to 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's great. So, yeah, that's just the kind of highlights from the WKF 2017 calendar. You can go to WKF.net for all that. And again, we'll post that on our website, which is karate360podcast.com.
There's a new K1 tournament in Toledo in Spain in June 17th and 19th. People have asked me if Canada Open will become a K1 tournament.
Okay.
I've heard that you could be your tournament could be the World Championships. Your tournament next level down could be a K1 tournament. And next level down it could have WKF sanctioning.
Okay.
I don't know what WKF sanctioning will bring. I don't know if that's something you pay for or it gets you some sort of bonus.
Gets you on their calendar, maybe.
Gets you on your calendar.
Yeah.
But if 70% of the people, 80% of the people are attending are not elite, and then because there's so many numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
20 to 30% are elite. Might not. I don't know how that all ties in. That we'll kind of figure that out in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But there's options that we can be interesting if the WKF said, okay, this tournament is on the calendar. So then national teams will come to it. So a busy calendar. And the one thing on there that's not a tournament, which is almost, if not more important, is in June. I think it's in Buenos Aires. The IOC will have a meeting to decide on the sports that will be allowed to go in the 2024 Summer Games.
That's right. And that'll be kind of a big announcement as well. I mean, it was a big announcement when we got into the 2020 as kind of one of the trial sports or whatever.
Actually, that should be the announcement for the 2024 location, right?
Yeah, it would be for the location and also what sports, I guess, are in there.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, Paris and Los Angeles are probably in the lead for running for that
event.
Yeah. But that's the big goal, is to get karate into it. What else happened over the last couple of weeks is other sports got the provisional recognition, which isn't the full recognition. It's like 2 or 3 steps down. Okay. And that was Muay Thai.
Oh, okay. I saw that. Yeah.
Muay Thai got a provisional recognition, so they must have an international association. Cheerleading was another one. There was one other one. I can't remember what it was. But but Muay Thai.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So their thing now would have to be, they have to build it so that they have a world championships every 2 years.
Yeah.
And they show that there's a broad range of people around the world that are doing it. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the WKF calendar for 2017. What we want to do now is we want to talk a little bit about the technical, tactical aspects of karate. Now, this week in our technical, tactical, we wanted to talk a little bit about the 90% rule.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're talking about here is this relates more to kata or maybe basics, not so much to kumite, I don't think. But basically what we like to teach here in our club at Kenzen Sports Karate, and what we hear around is also when
every single Japanese dojo.
And there you go. Speaking for the man who's been there, is when you do a technique, any technique, block, punch, kick, whatever it is, you move from slow to fast. So you actually build momentum, you build speed from your stance or whatever it is into the next movement, and it's like a gas pedal. That's kind of the analogy that we've used. You step on the gas pedal a little bit more, you start out, and then boom, you go in nice and fast. So you start from slow and you go to fast. And I know you call this the 90% rule. Why don't you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, I've heard this a lot from kata athletes, that they think that they go to 90% of their power because everything from 91 to 100 is tension.
Right.
Right? So
Okay.
the arms are loose.
It's almost too much.
Legs are loose,
Yeah.
yeah. And then they're getting their center mass to be really quick. Good power off the legs and
Right.
big legs.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything upon the moment of kime, of focus, you're really at 90% because everything else is too much. You start to get tense.
Right.
Your shoulders start to go up.
Yes.
When your shoulders start to go up, you start using more upper body muscle power. That will actually pop your heels off the floor. When you see someone shaking, a lot of times because they're overusing their upper body,
Right.
not using their core. That's like really old school Okinawan stuff, like your arms are like water, and your center is just your pivot point to get it going. I think it's the easy way to practice is to be extremely loose and think about sticking it right at the last second.
Yeah.
A little bit of tension in your stomach. I like that walking drill where you walk with your eyes closed and you feel your skeleton go side to side. Your gait carries you side to side, and then you do the walking drill again like you're balancing a teacup on your head.
Right. Yeah.
And your arms have to be loose. If your arms are tense, you'll actually throw your center of gravity. Because what's happening, and maybe you can explain this better than me, but if you're trying to put more tension in your upper body, your center of gravity might be coming up. Because you're now, well, I don't think it does.
No, I don't think it does either.
Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, if your control mechanism is higher up in your body than lower,
yes.
or you want the control mechanism
No,
more
that makes
down.
sense. And especially for traditional karate and kata athletes, that kind of stuff, you want to feel that rootedness. You want to be rooted to the floor using your strong legs. You don't want to have your energy or your power stored up in your upper body. You want it all to be in your lower body so that you can get that explosion, right? Because from the kinetic chain, we know that everything starts from the ground up, right? So we have to go through those strong legs before you can really even get it to your hands. Or
Exactly. You shouldn't feel like I throw my technique, I go 0, I'm at 100, I travel all the way through at 100. Kime is in like, that's my strongest 100 point. Then instantly I go to 0. It's more of a gradual progression, and then you're there.
Yes. And from a kinesiology perspective, it actually makes sense because your muscle recruitment, you actually recruit your slower muscles first, regardless of whatever you're doing. Even if it is a power exercise, you're going to recruit the smaller, slower muscles first, and then you're going to progressively recruit the faster, bigger muscles. So it makes sense.
Yeah, well, think about hitting something hard with a front kick.
Yeah.
Is it because you made your muscles in your leg really, really tight when you hit, or is it because you pushed your hip into it at the very moment of impact?
Yes. Yeah. You timed it just right.
Even just a good reverse punch. Your speed was quick, your arm was loose, but on the moment of impact, you either felt your whole center mass dig in or you twisted your torso. But it wasn't the fact that your biceps were 22 inches.
Yeah. All those bicep curls.
All the bicep curls were just pounding it out. Yeah, exactly. So the 90% rule. Even kumite, because we do sundome, which means point sparring.
Yeah.
We are actually moving at a really fast, explosive speed, but there is control. We're we're not getting really tense. And I guess if you are in that 91 to 100% tension area, you're going to gas out soon,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. You see it all the time. Guys just really trying to throw it all into each technique where really they need to be loose and fast and that kind of thing. No, absolutely. You do see that quite often.
How about people when you're working them in the gym? Do they look like, they're doing a deadlift or a clean and jerk? Do they get really tense? Because those are so technical movements.
Yes, and that's where obviously form becomes big, and you need to make sure that the muscles that you're actually activating are the right muscles, and that's totally it. You don't want to be, for say a deadlift or a clean and jerk or whatever, where you're lifting something off the floor. You don't want to be lifting with your shoulders or your traps first and then lifting from your legs. You want to use your big leg muscles first, slowly. That's why when you do those power movements, the first little bit is slow till you get it going, then boom, you actually activate those fast twitch muscles and you get them going. So you don't actually go right from the ground up at 100%. So and in Kumite, I think, you want to absolutely feel like you're going 100% from the beginning to the end, but you still want to be loose and not actually applying 100% of your muscular, capacity type thing.
Yeah. I wonder if really are kata and kumite backwards? Are they opposites?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you could probably divulge a little bit more than me, having more experience. But I would, in my opinion, I don't think they're opposites. I think they're different, absolutely. But I don't think they're opposites, no. I mean, I think the muscle recruitment for kata and kumite is very similar. It's just the order in which that they're done.
Oh, okay.
Because often, I know sometimes when you teach maybe a reverse punch for kumite, you're really getting the twist from the torso, the push from the feet, the twist of the torso, and then firing the arm out. Whereas, in kata, it's a lot more just trying to use that musculature of the leg to try and push yourself through to the next technique. So I don't know. I don't think it's opposite, but I think it's similar. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the thing in kata where you have to lock the body.
Yeah, that's obviously different.
Right? It's different. You really need a good basic technique especially at a lower level tournament for the provincials or state level, for an official to understand that was a beginning, a middle, and end.
Yeah.
But when at a higher speed, when you're not worried about, you don't want to lock in a kumite match because you're posing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Look at my technique.
Yeah.
You have to still be fluid and moving.
Yes, yeah. I mean, kumite athletes do sometimes do that. Look at my point that I just scored, trying to sell it. But
guilty.
Yeah, I think we all are.
But the energy systems, even if you look though at the world level, how short kata athletes tend to be.
Mm-hmm. Short and strong.
Shorter, sorry.
Yeah.
Short but strong.
Big legs.
Explosive
movement. Yeah.
Is that where the rules of evaluating kata benefit someone of that stature?
Yeah.
And really, if you think of all the sports, we have to be big, tall, long, to get a sport where, to be at the best, it's actually shorter limbs are great. And then, even, in powerlifting, the shorter your limb, the less area you have to lift, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's just biomechanics, really, The lever, the shorter the lever, the more power you can actually generate. So usually people with shorter arms can bench press more, can squat more, and that kind of thing, just because it's smaller levers, and that's just all physics, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in kata, with your physical stature, longer limbs, you're showing. It's harder to show the form in a really nice line. Yeah. Right. A really correct line.
Yeah.
So the 90% rule really, if you think about it, in anything you're doing in karate, is really important. How you can move up to that. Even tonight we did a belt test, and a lower level belt test, and some of the kids were not moving straight with their punch, but moving sideways with their hip. I'm going to go to my left hip front. I'm going to go to my right hip front, and some of them got it with no problem, but some of them were still didn't understand that you're trying to generate speed going forward.
Yes.
And to build up that momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. No, making it all work for sure. So anyways, that's our tactical tip or information of the week. Okay, guys, this week for the karate training tip of the week.
Hit me with it.
We wanted to tell you, you'll be using it tomorrow. You already got your pen and paper ready. You're ready to go. This one we're going real simple with, though. Everybody in karate at some point has done push-ups.
Never heard of it.
Of course you haven't. Push-ups and sit-ups. You know, we probably every class. Sit-ups. Yeah.
It's called udetate and fukin.
Okay.
Udetate is push-up and fukin is sit-up.
Okay.
Serious.
I believe you. I believe you.
This is a clean family show. Don't worry.
Yeah. Sorry. What was sit-ups again?
Sit-ups are fukin.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. So everybody's done push-ups and sit-ups in class, but the big question is, when should you do them, or at least when's the proper way to do them?
All at the beginning of the class.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
If it's an hour and a half long, just do push-ups and sit-ups.
And then you just feel wonderful after.
That's it. That's all you need to do. And well, we kind of had this discussion a little bit earlier on, and I think what we seem to believe, and I think what makes sense from a physiological world, is you want to be doing those things at the end of a class. Any muscular endurance stuff, basically, you want to be doing at the end of anything. Yeah, because we talked about it. I mean, sometimes you do your push-ups and your sit-ups, and you go, okay, now do this kata, which is very technical. And it's like, well, my muscles are kind of not working properly here. I just did 50 push-ups or whatever. So it doesn't make sense. Are push-ups and sit-ups good for karate?
Absolutely.
Why?
Well, first you build up those big calluses when you do your knuckle punches.
Yes. Okay.
They simulate similar movement, especially a push-up.
I would agree. I would agree that push-ups are beneficial. Are sit-ups particularly beneficial to karate performance?
Well, it depends how strong you want your abs to be.
Is sit-ups the best thing you can do for your abs?
I don't know, because I've done a lot of sit-ups where I arch my back.
Yeah,
so I had to lay off. Plus, you sit-ups are only going to work so much.
Yeah,
where then you're working your hip flexors.
Totally,
and you're working up.
And it's actually kind of commonly known, I guess, in the exercise science world now, that sit-ups are certainly not the best exercise you can do to strengthen your core. Because what's the main role of your core? What does your core do?
Well, it's supposed to
stabilizes your spine. Other parts of your core, like your obliques and stuff, also rotate your spine. Mm-hmm. So why are we crunching? We don't do that movement in karate. We don't have to really do that for anything karate related. So why do sit-ups? I always like to use planks and that kind of thing, and rotations. We've talked about rotations, ball throws against the wall and that kind of thing, which relate more to punching power, or planks, which actually relate to what the core is actually supposed to be doing.
Yes. I think some of it's because it's contact sport. You want to get your stomach as strong as you could so you could resist impact.
Sure. So why wouldn't we just get somebody to flex their stomach and punch them in the stomach like the old days?
Yeah.
Right? Which is actually a training tool that they do use, especially in boxing and that kind of thing, where you do take that impact.
Well, I remember when I was a teenager, there was a whole bunch of us. We would, every couple of days, like 2 or 3 times a week, and some people did it more often, we would do 1,000 sit-ups.
Yeah.
It took me 33 minutes. I would mark it off on a little sheet beside me, wear out my tailbone. So eventually I had like this might even be before they had yoga mats, like a rubber mat. And so we do 200 push-ups. We would do 1,000 sit-ups. We do 200 leg lifts, but we wouldn't train our lower back, and we didn't do squats.
Yeah.
I eventually had like scoliosis of my, my
just no
back.
Lumbar muscles whatsoever.
No, exactly. And then when I got older, I started working out in the gym, so I started doing hyperextensions.
Yes.
And then started balancing it out. But even my abs, I'm balanced. Like you have like your six-pack. My six-pack is
those are called your rectus femoris. No, pardon me, your rectus abdominis.
Rectus abdominis.
Yes.
So my 8-pack is
in the fridge.
In the fridge, yeah, exactly. It's under, as Johnny says, it's under my load of laundry. My washboard is slipped, so it's not horizontal lines have all slipped.
Okay.
Because when I was doing sit-ups, I would do lefts and rights and forwards, and so I actually developed the muscle in an awkward angle. The muscle's in an awkward angle.
Sure. Yeah.
And then my back was really badly arched for a while.
Sure, which is another thing that happens with sit-ups. So
yeah.
Push-ups, absolutely, I think are beneficial and relate to karate performance. But sit-ups, I don't know. I think we can do better.
I think we can do better. I know in our club we've changed from doing hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups to doing Well, we do planks a lot with the kids.
Yeah,
push-up
yeah.
planks. Lots of a variety.
Yeah, yeah. And
know?
variety, of course, is important as well. And another thing that we were talking about, why we like to do these things at the end of class as well, because I think it's a really good, it's a really good challenge at the end of class, and it makes you feel like you worked really, really hard. Okay, push-ups, push-ups. Now sit-ups, plank, back to push-ups. Just go. And last 5 minutes, oh, man, that was tiring. That was hard. And I think that's how you want to finish a karate class.
Yeah, I remember at the National Coaching Institute, and I remember Craig talking about this too, was and they found this with soccer players, is not to be overly stretched out or overly worked out too hard before you go out and do your maximum performance.
Yep, that makes sense.
You should be loosened up, you should be warmed up, and go
dynamic warm up.
And dynamic warm up, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you go out and have your maximum performance.
Yeah.
Gymnasts are the same thing. They don't go and try and increase their flexibility before they train.
No.
They increase after they train.
Yes.
And then go and have a really hard workout. If you have had like a mediocre training in a karate class, and then you have to go and do like 100 push-ups and squats and all kinds of stuff, and you really work out hard, like you say, it's a really good finish.
Yeah, totally.
Because sometimes people, they just want to be yelled at.
Totally. Yeah.
The sensei yelled at us, worked us really hard. We had to do another 10 last, I had to do 10. He wasn't accepting it. I had to do another 10.
Yeah. No, it's great. And it makes you feel like you've actually worked hard. So it's good.
So I remember Manuel Monzon, who used to be the head coach for Canada. He had this thing where he had a bar that you would hold in your hand, and he would hold it out in a kumite position, then yank it back in really fast.
Okay.
And to him, he thought that was improving the pulling performance of a punch.
Sure.
But he would hold it out, then pull it back. To me, it was opposite. Like, I understand we want to impact, we want to really quick push-ups or anything we're pressing forward, we're going to get that press. But he was, I might only be looking at half of his program.
Sure.
He was working on the pull part.
Yeah.
So anything kinesiology where you hold a weight with a fully extended limb and then pull back?
Well, holding something is a different, so you have, there's different kind of contractions that you do with your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
There's the shortening of the muscle, concentric, the lengthening, eccentric, and then the holding is the isometric.
Mm-hmm.
So the holding part of it, I'm sure if you were to ask him, the benefits he was probably trying to get was just strictly training the pulling back muscles, so the back muscles that are pulling. There is benefits to training just those muscles or just the pushing muscles, and there's also benefits in training them both together. And I think all of that should be done. So yeah, I think he was probably just doing what he thought worked, and I'm sure it did work for him. But yeah, you should train all of it. You should train the pushing, the pulling, and both together. And that's the same with everything, really.
So to give push-ups, one thing I like to tell people is they don't have to be a perfect knees off the floor, feet together,
Sure.
back straight. Like, you can start on your knees.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is about feeling a good press coming up, even just doing push-ups off the wall or off a bench or off a chair.
Yeah. It's really that push that you want to get for sure, using your chest muscles as well as your triceps and that kind of thing. Yeah.
That's right. So if you've been listening to us, drop down, give us 10 right now.
Yep, that's right.
Come on, hit
we'll
the
count.
floor.
We'll count.
Right? You got to go from your knuckles to your backhands.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so that's the karate training tip of the week.
Is there anything about doing a push-up that relates to your body weight, or is it just do more?
Just do more. Just do more.
Just do more.
Yeah. Or go do something. If you need to drop your body weight, go drop your body weight, and then do some push-ups.
Do more.
Yeah.
And then I guess, you're always going to get better. So
yeah.
How often would you say people should be doing push-ups at the end of every class, or 3 times a week?
Well, of course, yeah, 3 times a week I would say would be maximum, actually. They are an endurance muscle, and you do 4 rounds of 25 push-ups, or however many you can do, you're going to be a little sore the next day for sure. That's
it. That's a warm-up.
What are you, puny? Come on. So just a few times a week is enough. Yeah.
What I like is with Big Steve, who's in the club, shout out to Steve, is he's gone and lifted big weights that day, and we go in the class. I'm like, we're going for 100 today, and he's like, my arms.
Yeah. I've definitely been in that position before too, where just had a big bench press day or something where you're trying to push a lot of weight, and then all of a sudden, you say or Craig says, okay, we're gonna do some push-ups. Like, okay, and we start going. So, oh man, I don't have much left here.
It's all mental.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, so that's the karate training tip of the week. Wow, episode 14.
Holy moly.
We wrapped it up there pretty quick, and it went by very good. So again, thanks guys for listening in. We are Karate 360, and we can't thank you guys enough for all the contributions you guys have made on our social media, joining our kind of conversations, and just giving us all your thoughts when we see you in person, and saying, hey, I like this episode, I like what you thought. So keep it coming. Send us emails, send us tweets, whatever it is. Come up to us if you see us at tournaments and let us know that you listen and that you like what we do, and it's great. And again, this is a conversation we want you guys to join in. So again, thanks so much from Karate 360. Again, this is episode 14. I'm Kalan Anglos.
I'm Richard Mosdell.
And we'll see you guys next week for more Karate 360.
San Rokumaru.